Well, hello, my beauties. So today, as you can see, my hair is nice and wet on top of my head, and I'm gonna do a voluminous blowout with you guys, and I'm gonna go through step by step on how I get that nice, beautiful volume blowout on myself, and then I also use the same technique on my clients behind the chair. So first, I got my hair nice and washed. I used the new Rusk Color RX shampoo. And then for my conditioner, I did the 2-minute hair mask. My hair needs it because my hair is, you can see, we have some bleach in it. So using the two of those is a great prep for getting my hair ready for the blowout. Next up, I need to detangle my hair. Now, when it comes to detangling hair, I'm not gonna go in with just like a normal comb, especially with hair that's been color treated like mine. I wanna go through with a detangling brush that's meant for wet hair. And I have two choices here. So when I'm detangling, for my hair, I like to use a brush. See those bristles? They're much finer. They're very flexible. So as they work through my hair, they're not gonna be aggressive and pull like crazy. The other options are a stiffer bristle that are really gonna work through it. But we're not using that today. We're gonna use a softer bristle. And before I start to detangle, I need something to help give me some slip. So what am I gonna use? So I am going to help detangle my hair using the anti-frizz. Anti-frizz, it's gonna help me with brushing it, but this is gonna help with my blowout. It is going to fight the frizz up to 72 hours. That's crazy, you guys. So this is a go-to, can do multiple things. So I'm gonna put a little bit in my hand and start to work it through. So as you can see, I put about 2 pumps in my hand. I'm gonna emulsify my hands together, and then we're gonna do Barbie hands. Barbie hands are stiff hands. We're gonna take them and we're just gonna run them just like this through the mids and the ends. And then once I have a lot of it worked off of my hands, I'm just gonna kind of massage and rub through and get up here. I don't wanna put it all at the top of my root. I really wanna concentrate on those mids and ends where I get that extra frizzy. So now that I got it applied, we're gonna go through and we're gonna detangle. What's important, I know we were all taught this, start from the bottom and then work your way up. We're not gonna start up here and rip it down. Hair is most fragile when it is in its wet state. So we need to make sure that we're very gentle with it, using the right brush to detangle, and then also using a product that is gonna help me have a little bit of lubrication to the hair. And the anti-frizz serum, it does that. It gives just enough of that slip and that glide for me to brush through. And usually my hair is a nightmare to brush through. You can see I'm getting through it very easily. Now, all of these products are buildable with each other, so you can use them all together and you're not gonna get any weird effects on the hair. So after I use the anti-frizz serum to prep the hair, I'm gonna cocktail it with the blow dry balm. I'm gonna put the same amount of pumps that I use as the anti-frizz serum, put it in my hair, and the blow dry balm is gonna help me cut down that blow dry time, help with that shine, heat protection, caffeine in it that's really gonna bring that hair to life. It's gonna help mend my ends. This balm I literally use in every single blowout. It's a go-to mandatory one. All right, now that I have my hair prepped with the anti-frizz and the blow dry balm, next up, if we're doing a volume blowout, we need a volumizer. So we're gonna use the volumizing mousse. I'm gonna take a good amount, put it in my hand and apply it to my roots. And this mousse is gonna give me that beautiful body without having that, you know, that strong hold that you feel it, it's not flexible. This is not gonna be that. So I'm gonna prep my roots with the volumizing mousse. So first we're gonna give it a really good shake, and I'm gonna put the mousse in my hands because I like to put it through myself. You can also take the mousse and you can apply it to the roots. When I'm working on a client, that's generally what I'll do. So I'm gonna apply here to my sides, I'm gonna take my fingers and I'm gonna massage at my roots, really work it through. And then what's important is after we get in all of our products into our hair, we need to brush them through so we can disperse them evenly throughout your hair. That is super important, and that's also after I have fresh washed hair, I don't wait. I get my products in right away because I want to have even disbursement of those products from root to end. If you let your hair start to dry and you run the product through, those drier areas aren't gonna dilute down that product. So you might get a lot more hold in that area that's drier versus the area that has water in it, because the water is gonna kind of dilute down that product, and then as I'm brushing through, it's gonna help push out that product everywhere that it needs to go. Okay, my hair is prepped, and now it's time to get really loud, and we are gonna use Rusk's weightless blow dryer, and I'm gonna blow dry my hair about 80% before I hit it with a round brush at all. Your hair can stretch up to 50% of its elasticity. So if I start hitting it with a round brush while I'm drying it, I'm gonna stretch out, get breakage, and it's an arm workout I'm not looking for. So we're gonna put it on hot setting, then I'm gonna do a high setting because I have a lot of hair, so we need to get through this. And as you guys can see, I'm just taking my fingers, shaking it out, and keep moving that blow dryer, because if you hold it in one spot, you're gonna burn your head. Now what I'm gonna show you guys is I'm gonna flip my head. I'm gonna flip my head, and that's gonna help give some lift to my roots. And I'm gonna blow dry a lot of my hair, almost majority of it, the rough dry, with my head upside down, okay? So we're gonna turn on our blow dryer, we're gonna flip our head, see my hair, it's about 80% dry, and look at this body. So the big thing about this blowout is it's a blowout I can do on my own. I'm not going to take a round brush and set and do all that. What I'm going to do with my brush though is I'm going to take my paddle brush and I'm going to work on smoothing out my hair. After I work on smoothing out my hair with the blow dryer, I'm going to show you the pro tip in how to faux this blowout, which is gonna save your arms and make life much easier. So I'm gonna get into just smoothing out my hair right now that it is 80% dry. So you can do this many different ways. First, I like to go through with a brush and just detangle it. My hair is always super, it's one of those, it just like is always wrapping around itself. So before I go through and I start hitting it with the blow dryer again, I'm just gonna work through, make sure that it's nice and detangled. Because if I don't, I'm just gonna hurt myself and my hair. And now that I have it nice and detangled, now I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna turn on the blow dryer, and I'm gonna work my flat brush with it, paddle brush, whatever you wanna call it, and we're gonna work on smoothing it. And then stay tuned for the fun part. And take it backwards, that's when I grip it and roll it. And just smooth it down. And work on building up. When you move your hair into this direction, when you work on moving it over to this direction, then we're gonna move it to the other direction, that's gonna help create some more body at the roots. Literally, look at this, you guys. This is just a rough blowout. The shine, it's so pretty. And I also want to point out that the Rusk weightless dryer that I am using literally is weightless. It's so important, especially as a stylist behind the chair, that I don't have something that's so heavy giving me arm fatigue and hand fatigue. Worked like a gem, super light, and got my hair fast. And oh, okay. So we're gonna set this guy aside, and next up, we are going to be working with a few tools to give this faux style of a volume blowout. What we're gonna use is Velcro rollers. Velcro rollers, you can pick up anywhere. You can go to any store that's local. They don't need to be special. These guys that I have multiple sizes. Then we're also going to be using Rusk's curling iron. Literally, you guys, the curl titanium. I love this curling iron. Look at how long it is. So it's nice and long. So with longer hair, you can really roll and work with it. What we're going to do today is first, I'm going to take my hair, I'm going to put it into sections. And then what I curl, I'm going to set. So after that sets and we pull it out, that is going to give that voluminous blowout without having to sit there with a round brush on our own head, because I know how many of us have a hard time doing that. I do blowouts every day on my clients, but to do it to myself, it's really hard. So this faux version that I'm using, it's been a life. My tools, and I'm ready to go. So first things first, my heat setting. I have colored hair, as you can see, bleached out. I am not gonna crank this all the way to the highest heat, which is 430 degrees. I'm gonna have my hair right in the middle, which is 355. Also, with the products I'm using, it's gonna help keep my hair nice and protected through the process. So we're gonna take a clip. First, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a mohawk section. Take your pointer fingers, come up, part along, and I'm turning right at the back of my crown. This is gonna be our main section for the body and the volume. We're gonna clip this away, okay? Now, for my rollers, I'm gonna use majority of these rollers up top, and I prefer to use the bigger ones because I do have a little bit of a longer hair, I have medium length hair, so those are just my preference. You can use the smaller ones, they're just a little bit harder to get out, especially your first few times. Next up, we're gonna take my finger and we are going to section directly in the back and then pull each section on each side. So we'll be working from left to right. When we pull everything forward, we can see it all, we can work with it, makes life so much easier, okay? Next up, we're gonna get another clip. And we're gonna come through. I am really not particular about the sectioning for the lower area. So everything, here's your parietal ridge is right here. Everything below the ridge, we're gonna collapse, okay? Everything above the ridge, we're gonna bring straight up and create that volume. So when this comes over, it's gonna be really enhanced. So everything below, I am not gonna be like, oh, I need to make sure this is curled and set. You don't need to worry about that, okay? So now it's nice and warm. A great way to check if your curling iron is warm enough, just simply take it, back and forth on your hair, give it a feel, it's good to go. What we're gonna do, we're gonna open the clamp and we're gonna heat up the hair just a little bit before we clamp. By doing so, it's gonna prevent any dent marks. You know, that's the worst, when you get those dent marks from your curling iron. So just add a little bit of heat and then roll. We're gonna feel it. Once the hair is too hot for me to touch, it's time to come off. So I sit here and I never count. A lot of people will count. I like to feel the hair, and once I'm like, ooh, we need to get my hand off, that's when I know it's time. So now that it's time, we're just gonna drop it. And there's two ways you can go about this. You can either set this if you want to, take one of the smaller sizes, grab it, and then you're gonna roll it. Rolling your Velcro roller is what's gonna create that grip that you need. And we're not rolling it all the way to the top. Just rolling those bottoms, because once again, we're just creating a nice faux blowout. We're not trying to have these curls and all this craziness going on. All right, so let's unclip that guy. We're gonna section here. I'm kind of taking like diagonal back sections. Like I said, do not overthink it. I feel like when we overthink it, that's when we start getting frustrated with what we're doing. So just keeping in mind to keep the lower stuff, low elevation. We're gonna heat up right here, smooth down, and roll. And I like to start at the roots versus the ends because our ends are the most fragile. So keeping those guys out until the very last minute, it's just gonna help preserve them a little bit longer for you. I'm taking, I would say, medium-sized sections. If we take tiny little ones, you're gonna end up with literally like ringlet curls, okay? So I always recommend a little bit bigger sections when you're doing this faux blowout. We're gonna take it and I'm gonna let this guy set on its own. I wanna show you guys the variation. Like, you can have fun with it. Don't sit here and be like, oh, it's gotta be like this. And I'm gonna keep repeating that, because when we overthink it, that's when everyone's like, I just can't do this anymore. However, let's get into a little tip right here now that we're at the front. So this is the front, okay? Whenever I'm curling anything near the front of the face, we wanna open up the face. So we're gonna heat it up. We're curling away from the face, okay? We're curling away. What does curling away from the face do? It's gonna open up your face. If we curl towards the face, you're gonna have that girl coming straight here. So curling away, it's gonna open up that face. And as you guys can see, I'm not rolling this all the way up to my root. I don't want body here. I'm just trying to give myself a nice little bend and curl right here because I'm gonna brush it all out. And when I brush it out, I'm not trying to get that curly look, that, you know, either that beach curl, anything like that. We are literally just going for a nice little blowout here. And keeping them on left to right, it's really helping me control it. Now, the direction of these guys, grab what is comfortable for you. So see, I'm curling away from the face right now. I'm not doing it because like I need to curl away. We do up here, but back here, I'm just working this curling iron in a way that is comfortable for my hands and for styling. And I think when we're comfortable and we're not frustrated, it just comes out way better, okay? So we're gonna let that guy go there. And then we are just going to work. I keep forgetting which clip. I got my 2 clips. Working on the camera and not the mirror can be a little hard sometimes because you're trying to grab for both clips. So I'm taking that diagonal sectioning once again through. And I think this one, I'm gonna set this one. So we're gonna grab, and if you feel like it's not smooth, just grab your brush and smooth it if it feels a little bit tangled, because you do want to keep it nice and smooth. You don't want to grab a big section of hair and have it feel kind of lumpy. You know, when it's not been brushed out, you don't want that feel in your hands. You want the hair to be nice and smooth. Also, you can see we call it a flat wrap. So all the hair is flat as I'm wrapping it around the curling iron. It's not twisting. How you wrap the hair around the curling iron is going to give you different looks. So keeping it nice and smooth and flat is going to be key to having that nice and smooth look. So now I'm going to grab them. We're going to take our Velcro and I'm going to roll it. Get that tension, get these ends, lay these ends right here, these bad boys, and then we're just rolling to get those ends. I'm taking these baby little clips and putting it here. Ooh. I just have so much fun with this style. I've always struggled at home to create my own like blowouts because my arms get fatigued, I get tired. I have a lot of hair, so it can get stressful. So this has been like a really fun way to have it. So now we have finished the lower portion. This is where we're gonna concentrate on making sure we get the most body, okay? So let's unclip it. I'm gonna take my brush and brush through it, and I guarantee it's gonna have a slight bend in it because my hair loves to get any sort of bend it can. So first we're gonna start in the back. I prefer starting in the back of the head and working my way forward. It's easier for me to control the hair. Always control the hair. Do not let the hair control you. So we're gonna grab this section. We're gonna brush it straight up. Keeping it straight up, 90 degrees. That is how we're gonna get the body, you guys, okay? We're gonna take our curling iron. Now, we're gonna curl all the way to the roots here, okay? We're gonna roll, and make sure we get all those ends in. And I'm keeping this all the way up to the root. I'm gonna hold it here, and then when I slip it out, I'm gonna roll in the Velcro roller, and that is gonna help set the top. Like I said, once it's too hot, we're just gonna grab the section, clamp, 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 tap, 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 okay? Just simply grab that. You can use a heat mat if you want. Just pull out that guy. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my brush again, brush it. You need to work fast because once the hair cools, that's where it's gonna stay. We're gonna bring it all the way up, get your ends in it, and roll it, roll it. And see how I'm pushing my fingers? It's gonna help prevent that hair from coming over the sides. Now I work with a bigger clip up through here, and we're just gonna clip it in. And then I'm gonna work through. Cute look. So I've been using this guy and just keeping my hair in front. So this is gonna be the last section, and I wanna make sure I have everything that I need. And this one can be a little bit of a struggle bus, so make sure that you're nice and organized with it. Now I'm gonna show you a little tip that I do for these front ones because it can be a little bit of a struggle. Get your clamp, look up at your hair. We're gonna roll it to the end, and I have it straight out in front, and we're gonna roll. Now what you can see, these little guys that came out. All right, we just wanna get them warm. So it's just the tiniest little guy. We need to get them warm. Once I get them warm and I set them, they'll be good as long as I keep them nice and flat like I talked about. My hand is staying here. I'm feeling it. You guys can see I got that set in. And I can feel it on my root too. Okay, so now we're just gonna clamp, 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 clamp. We're gonna take it. Remember, you need to move on the quicker side. I wanna make sure everything's nice and smooth. We're gonna take this, roll it in, get those ends nice and wrapped under, and then we're gonna take it, hold those sides so it doesn't feather out. Put that bad boy in there, get our little duckbill clip, and we're gonna clip it in there. All right, next up what we're gonna do is we're gonna be using the brushable hairspray. So the brushable hairspray, it is a buildable hairspray. And I'm gonna set it, I'm gonna spray all over, and that's gonna be my first set. Since this hairspray, you can really build on it, it makes it nice for that first initial set. I am not gonna touch my hair until it cools down. So all of this needs to cool down, and then once it's nice and cool, I'm gonna pull everything down and show you guys the end results. So I have felt my sets up here, and they feel nice and cool, and that's what you're looking for. I'm gonna unclip these guys. Why is it important to wait for them to be cool? Well, if you mess with them when they're hot, if you've ever curled your hair and you immediately run your hands through it and it goes flat, that's why. So there's bonds in the hair. We have physical, and we can physically alter them and we can chemically alter them. And we physically alter them with heat. So we make those bonds go crazy once we heat up the hair. And once that hair cools, that's where they're gonna settle. And if it settles more on the straight side, that's where it's gonna settle. So that's why I want the hair to cool in the shape. That's why we set it. Oh, so, all right, we got those guys pulled out. Don't finger comb, gotta resist doing that. So now I'm gonna work from back to front, how I originally set these guys in. And if you're tender-headed, it's gonna pull a little bit, but not bad, okay? So we're gonna pull like that, drop it down. And I like to stay organized, so I'm gonna clip my guys on as I go so I don't lose them too often. I lose these little guys, and I'm always replacing them. So that is my little tip to make sure you keep track of them all. And then we're just gonna keep working our way forward. I like to let this one stay in as long as possible. It's cool to touch, but it just kind of helps make sure it's like that insurance to make sure that it still stays in its curl in that shape I need. Pull it out, you guys can see it's coming. So I love blowouts. 90s blowouts are like all the rave right now, so I'm all about them. Last one, okay, so we're gonna pull it straight up, and then we're gonna pull that. Look at that. That is somebody, and I love it. Now, there are a few ways that you can brush this out. You can use your fingers, you can use a comb, you can use a brush. What you use to brush out is gonna give a different look. Let's start with fingers. I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'll soften it with a boar bristle brush, okay? So we're gonna take our fingers, and we're just gonna kind of run them through the hair. And we're gonna run them through the hair just like we would. You know when you toss your hair from side to side? That's what we're gonna do. That hairspray, it is brushable. And you guys can see, as I'm brushing through with my fingers, it is just really soft and combable. We're not getting any flakiness. We're getting that, oh my gosh, look at that body. It is so pretty. And I like to have a side part, especially when I'm doing blowouts on myself or on my clients. That side part is just gonna like enhance and really show it off, okay? So that is what it looks like with the fingers. So you see a little bit more of a definition, right? So if we wanna soften it a little bit, I'm gonna grab for my boar bristle brush, and I'm just gonna come through, and I'm just gonna break it down just a little bit more. See how it's just smoothing out the hair just that much more. Oh, that shine, it's beautiful. And then if you want to go through one more time and hit it with the hairspray just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere, that's a great idea to do too, because honestly, it's like perfume for the hair. It smells good and it's not going to get it crunchy. I love these blowouts so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial as much as I had fun doing it, and I hope you all have a beautiful day.